If you work on commission or live on tips or a freelancer and having a different amount of income coming in every single month, you can't budget, right? Nope, that is not true. You can definitely budget with a irregular income or a commission-based income. Yes, it's different. I wouldn't say it's harder, but it's going to be different than a traditional income where you are on salary or you are working a traditional 9 to 5, an hourly rate where you know roughly how much you're bringing in every single month. There's going to be some different steps if you have an irregular budget. So I'm going to walk you through step by step exactly what you need to do. I also have a special spreadsheet that's different than a typical monthly budget for a irregular income, for commission-based income. It comes in a Excel spreadsheet, Google Sheets, and I also have a printable version as well. So definitely check them out. It'll be linked in the description box. I also have a full blog post as well that really gives you the written out details of this so that you can go and compare as you're going through your budget, as you're creating it. You can look at the blog post that goes step by step. So step by step, what to do if you have an irregular income. First thing to do is a spending analysis. So what this is you want to go through your bank statements, through your credit cards, through your bank accounts, all of that, and look to see what you're spending your money on. What are your spending categories? Number one, what are those spending categories? How much are you spending every month in groceries? How much are you spending every month in eating out? How much are you spending every month on the gas for your car? What are your spending categories? You need to know those so that you can create your budget. I have a spending analysis template for you, and I also have a full video that walks you through how to do it. But go through a spending analysis and look to see how much you're spending every single month, because you need to know what you are spending on gas, on electricity, on groceries, all of those different categories. Next, you're going to list your income. Now, you're going to list the lowest amount that you would bring in every single month. So if you are a commission-based employee, but you do receive some salary, so maybe you have a base salary of $30,000, but then you also bring in commission. You want to do the lowest amount that you would ever bring in, or maybe look at your past 6 months or past year and look to see what is the lowest amount that you've brought in those 6 months to see, okay, this is the bare minimum that I would be making every single month. So this would include any tips that you have, any salary that you have, a side hustle that you have, maybe a spouse's income. Any income that you have coming in, you want to include it in this, but you want the bare minimum that you would be having every single month, okay? That is step 2. Next thing you're going to do is create a bare bones budget. Now, what a bare bones budget is, the least amount of budget possible. So this is just main necessities. This is what you need to survive. This is not including any extras. This is the budget that you would turn to if you lost your job and you had to go into crisis mode. Oh gosh, we got to cut everything. That's the budget that we're going to be creating right now. So this does not include eating out. This is not including personal spending money. This is not including subscriptions. This is only including what you need to run your house. So your mortgage, your utilities, your gas for your car because you still have to go to work, your groceries, but bare minimum groceries, not the extra groceries, but just bare minimum what you need to feed your family. This is minimum payments on debts. Only minimum payments, not extra debt payments. Bare bones sinking funds. We're not doing sinking funds. The only exception to a sinking fund is if it is one that you need to pay for your car insurance, for instance. So if you have a car insurance where you pay the full year in advance or 6 months in advance and get a discount, then you can include that sinking fund. But we're not including gifts. We're not including Christmas. We're not including any of those categories. We're doing a bare bones budget. Bare bones for it, okay? So we're going to fill that in the spreadsheet is that bare bones budget. Next is going to be an extras category. So this is a category that is special to this budget, and this is a category of different things that you may have. So you may have eating out, you may have personal spending money, you have sinking funds, you have extra investments, you have extra debt payments. This is what you're going to add to your budget if you have a really good month. So if your commission is really good, or you get a bonus, or whatever it may be, then you are going to use this category here to fill in those extras. So when you're creating your budget, you're already going to have this pre-populated. So it's not like you get an extra $1,000 this month and you're like, woohoo, we can go shopping, we can do this, we can do that. No, it's already pre-planned out when you were in a good frame of mind and you are thinking rationally, saying, okay, if I have a good month, this is what I have. And you're going to list them in order of importance. So if you have a really good month, what is the first thing you're going to do with that money? Okay, then what's the next? What's the next? What's the next? So first thing, if you're having a really good month, first thing, maybe an extra debt payment. Next thing, let's fund our investments. Next thing, let's do some sinking funds. Next thing, let's have a date night. Next thing, let's do this, then this, and this. So you're going to have them in order of importance of your budget. Now, the typical month, you will be adding money to this. It's not the typical month that is going to be bare bones budget, but you want to have that in case you do have that. So we're going to add in slowly every single month if you have extra income that month. Now, I do want to note that as the month goes on, as you are going throughout the month, you're going to be adding in your expenses. You are going to be adding things as you spend money, as your electric bill hits your bank account, as your automatic payments hit your bank account. You want to be adding them to your budget. You want to add throughout the month. I recommend every 3 or 4 days being in your budget so that you can go and you can see, oh, we're spending a little too much money on groceries. We can cut back a little bit. If you wait to the end of the month to add in your expenses, then it's going to be too late. If you went over budget, oh well, so sad. No, we want to be doing it every couple days so that we can adjust throughout the month if needed. Now, I do want to note that as the month goes on, you want to be tracking your expenses throughout the month. Every couple days is when you want to be in your budget tracking your expenses. So as your electric bill hits your account, as you buy groceries, as you fill up your gas tank, you want to be adding those purchases to your budget. Because if you wait to the end of the month, it's going to be too late. If you wait to the end of the month, oh, well, I went over budget on groceries. Oh, well, I went over budget in this. No, we want to be tracking our budget every couple days so that if we are going over budget, we can rein it in and we can adjust throughout the month. Whereas if you wait to the end, it's too late. So keep that in mind. That's really important. Next, we're going to be tracking our income. So as income comes in, we are going to be adding it to the budget. So if you budgeted $3,000 for the month and you brought in $4,000, you had an extra $1,000 that came in. Okay, what are we putting that money towards? This is when we fill in those extra line items, this extra box, where you can go in and say, okay, we have an extra $500. We're going to put an extra $300 towards the debt that we're working on, an extra $200 towards sinking funds, an extra $400 to investments, an extra $50 to eating out, and an extra $50 to the Hills and Valleys Fund. Now, what's the Hills and Valleys Fund? I'm so glad that you asked. The Hills and Valleys Fund is also something that you want to have if you have an irregular income, if you work on commission-based. So what a Hills and Valleys Fund is, there are hills and there are valleys, right? So on the hills is when you are making that high income, you are killing it with your commissions, you're getting these big tips coming in. And then the valleys are when things are a little slower. So maybe if you were a waiter and you live in South Florida like I do, when it's not in season, when all the snowbirds have gone back home to Boston, New York, and tips are a lot lower, that would be a valley. So that's going to be when income is a lot lower. So have an extra fund. Now this is in addition to your emergency fund. This is in addition to your sinking funds. This is a fund specifically for people that have irregular incomes. So if you had those months that are lower income, you can pull from that Hill and Valley Fund. You can say, okay, it's a tight month. I can't even do the bare bones budget right now because my tips are way lower than I expected. So we're going to pull from the Hill and Valley Fund. We need $300 to cover this month. So that way you can pull from that fund. That's also going to give you a lot of peace of mind. Having this Hills and Valley Fund is so important. I personally recommend keeping it in an account like CIT Bank. CIT Bank is a great bank that you can have for high yield savings account. Right now when I'm filming this, 2.1% APY. Wells Fargo, Bank of America, there's 0.1% APY. So that's a big difference in how much you're earning in interest. Now you're not wanting to make a lot of money on this, but hey, if you have an account, you might as well make some money on it. So have it in a high yield savings account. So the Hills and Valleys Fund is really important to have if you have an irregular income. Next, before the month is over, you want to create next month's budget. You want to have next month's budget already ready to go. Don't wait until it's already the first, second, third week of the month and be like, oh, I got to make the budget. No, I recommend making your next month's budget at the last week of the month. So always be working on the next month's budget so that you can prepare for it and so it's ready to go for you. I have a full video on how to transfer over your budget to the next budget. I'll have that linked below. But let's keep the conversation going. If you want to know 5 passive income streams that can earn over $1,000 a month, check out this video here. And if you want to know my 10 income streams that I have, because it's so important to diversify your income, you want multiple income streams, check out this video here.
No, no, no.